So yeah, I'm a new dad again. That simply means that obviously I was already a dad before, but it took 6 years before I became a dad again. Meaning my first daughter got to 6 years before we gave birth to my second daughter. And that's an entirely different story on its own. Which, in summary, I just want to say, yeah, thank God. We are so grateful because He literally turned our tears to joy, our mourning into dancing and all that. So yeah, like I said, that's another story for another day. Probably check out the OhEmGees. We're gonna share this story there. But for here, I want to come and share my personal story as to waiting my eye they see. I probably saw them with my first daughter and everything, but that was the first time. And I was like, okay, yeah, we went through it, and I was like, oh, thank God, finally. Not knowing that my second daughter is going to be like a Pro Max edition. I'm going to be breaking them up into, bits and maybe episodes. And this episode 1, what I just want to talk about today is the fact that, my wife is like my wife. She's my wife. Now me get my wife. Like, now me marry her. You understand? I marry her with yam and yam flour. Nishu loka. So, I know my wife very well. And one of the main things I know about my wife, that's one of my favorite things about my wife, is the fact that I know where to touch to get certain results. I'm not going to give TMI, too much information, but my fellow men and husband, even women, understand what I'm talking about. No matter what, no matter the mood, I just touch some certain places and I get some particular results. But since we gave birth, it's like those places went on sabbatical. Like, I touched them, nothing they happen. In fact, if anything will happen, it might even turn to anger. She might shout at me, not necessarily shout at me, but it might bring out some mood that was not the mood that I was trying to bring out. So I've not been getting the results that I would get by pressing those buttons, which is fine. Obviously, I understand it because she's been through a lot, 9 months pregnancy, and even the delivery process was not being, and she's just recuperating, and also she's taking care of our daughter. That is fully understandable. But what I do not understand is the fact that, you see, this my daughter that is barely over 2 months seem to have some control over the same areas that I said are my PowerPoint areas, that when I touch I get the result and I don't get the result anymore. My daughter has some special powers over these areas so that she does not even touch. It's like wireless control. And let me explain. Make me understand how my daughter will be in the room upstairs. I will be with my wife in the sitting room. We are watching TV or something, and she's far away from our daughter that is sleeping. All of a sudden, my wife will just touch her boobs, her mammary gland, and be like, oh, she's crying. Oh, she needs to eat. And she rushes up, and it's sincerely so. Like, when she gets there, the baby is hungry, she's about to cry. What is the connection? What is the sensation in the mammary gland, which is one of my main power zone before, that now I've lost access to, that God will give me back in Jesus' name? What is the connection between that place and what is the signal that my daughter is sending, that just through that, even if we are not hearing the sound of the cry, my wife already knows that she's crying, our daughter is crying, and she needs to feed, and she will get there and it's exactly the same thing. And as if that is not enough, my daughter, when my wife now gets there, remember, this my daughter is just 2 months old. See, there's nothing anybody in this life can tell me. These children, these babies, they are adults. They are just new to this world, so they just need to hear our language. Yes, there's nothing. They know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. It's the only thing is they don't understand our language, and yeah, they can't walk and they can't do those things. But they know what they are doing. Because why will my daughter, okay, everything has happened, my wife now starts breastfeeding my daughter. Why will my daughter now be using it to taunt me? Sucking the breast and making sounds. You'll be hearing, and it's almost as if she's looking into my eyes and saying, I've collected it from you. That's the sound she's making with that. This nobody will believe me. Like, I can't narrate this thing to my wife. She will be like, daddy, and I don't be like Agbaya. So that's why I've said that I will just come here and I will share my chronicles with you guys. I know there's probably a man out there that is in my shoes, and I understand exactly what I'm saying. So I'm holding hands with you, and in solidarity, we know that this phase shall soon pass. These children will soon grow beyond breast milk and to other food, and God will give us dominion back over that has been taken away from us. Don't get me wrong, I'm the happiest man alive. I'm so grateful to God for the gift of my daughter. But at the same time, Ọlọ́run ṣàánú mi.